Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, non-binaries of all ages, welcome to How to Make a Literal Cat in Your Favorite RPG. I hope you're not here to learn how to do character creation the right way, at least. You're in the wrong place for that. This is the Cat Creation Podcast. I am a host of this show. My name is Joel.
Hi, Joel. I am another host of this show. My name is Avalon.
Hi, Avalon. A question. Have you heard any, thumping or hopping noises in the studio today?
You know, I did, and I was going to ask about it, but I don't know. There's weird noises around here all the time. Did you track this one down? Did you find out what was going on?
Let's go look over to our third microphone.
Oh, are you asking me if I've heard any weird noises?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Also, who are you?
Yeah, what are you doing in here? How'd you get into our studio?
Oh, I hopped right in. Hi, my name is Mint, also known as MintRabbit, and I am the face behind...
That's probably the noise.
I'm the blog TheresATtrpgForThat, which, if you're on Tumblr, you might be familiar with.
Ah, I am familiar. I believe I follow you.
Well, thank you.
It's a good blog. I'm a fan of that blog.
Thank you very much.
So, Mint, would you like to tell our audience a little bit about yourself, your TTRPG, podcasting, or whatever else relevant experience you might have?
Sure. So I already mentioned the blog. I post weekly recommendations for different prompts that people submit. I've done things like body horror, Pacific Drive, games that don't require a GM, all different kinds of requests. I'm also a game designer. I'm currently working on a Forge in the Dark TTRPG called Protect the Child. It's inspired by media such as Monsters Incorporated, The Mandalorian, Ice Age, things like that. And in my free time, I also, of course, run a lot of games for my friends.
Nice. Sounds like you're well-equipped to be on this show.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So, would you like to then, because you picked out the game that we're going to be covering today. So would you like to tell us a little bit about External Containment Bureau?
Absolutely. So, External Containment Bureau is an RPG of paranormal investigation. It's also a Forged into the Dark game, so if you're familiar with games like Blades in the Dark or Scum and Villainy, you're going to be right at home here. It's primarily made for fans of things like SCP, the video game Control, the X-Files, and The Office. Yep.
Interesting. I was not expecting that last one, but okay.
Interesting addition there at the end, yeah.
If you want the ability to, suck up like the god-eating horror that came out of another dimension and then go and talk to Linda at the water cooler about it later, you can do both of those things.
Interesting.
All right.
God, I talk to my coworkers about the horrors all the time.
Exactly.
Do you guys ever saute the horrors, or?
Yeah. Saute, medium rare, get a nice sear around the edges.
Put them into filing cabinets.
So yeah, that is the kind of game we are going to be covering today. Now, this is a show about making cats. This is not a game about playing cats. So you may be wondering, how are we going to bridge that gap? And the answer is, in whatever way works. But there are some things that we're not going to do, because our show has some rules that we have to follow.
Correct. We have 8 rules. Joel, would you like to start us off?
Yeah, sure. So, rule number 1, we accept no cop-outs. We're making a cat, which is the exact animal that comes to mind when I say the word. No anthropomorphic cat races, no people turned into cats, no lions, no tigers, no... what's it called? Incineroar. No other cop-out you can imagine.
No Pokemon, ?
No. Not even that time we did the heavily Pokemon-inspired RPG.
Okay, so none of that. The other thing that there is none of is homebrew. We cannot use homebrew/house rules. If the rules in the rulebook don't let us do something, we count it as a rule broken. And if the rules in the rulebook say, you're supposed to do this, such as play as a human, and we say, but we're gonna do this, play as a cat, we count that as a rule broken too.
Yep. Rule number 3, if the game includes stats for a literal cat, those must be used or adapted to the game's character sheet. Is that going to come up?
I don't think so. I think we're kind of on our own here.
Alright. Isn't that the way it normally is?
None of these game designers think about cats when making their games, you know?
Oh, you're talking about the game.
What else would I be talking about?
Being on our own here?
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, what's rule 4?
Rule 4 is the character class, background, playbook, job, what have you, must exist in the game's core rules or as part of an official expansion. We cannot use homebrew classes. They don't exist.
Yep. Rule number 5, the cat can learn any skill available to its class, even if it's not something a cat could normally be trained to do. The cat has to be able to perform the role that it's assigned to the party.
Yes, and as we've learned on this podcast, you can train a cat to do a lot, apparently, according to last episode. But rule 6 is if a tool would be physically impossible for a literal cat to use, even if comically downsized for them, they cannot use it. Think of literally anything that requires opposable thumbs. Pretty tough to do that.
Yep. Mint, for your reference, since that episode's not out yet.
Oh, yeah.
Last episode, we made a cat who was forklift certified.
That's adorable. And also, I'm excited to see what you do with the equipment that this game gives you.
Alright. Rule number 7 is if a character sheet has a section that is meant to be filled out in collaboration with the whole table, we have to leave that blank so potential players can make it fit the group they're playing with. Because if this is your first time here, we do share all of the character sheets we make on the show with the general public.
Yes. Free use. Power to the people. And finally, rule 8 is we have to keep track of every rule that we break. So, playing as a cat, number 1 rule that's broken. And then we just, usually we can make it work. After that, it's smooth sailing.
I don't think we're going to have to worry too much about breaking rules in this game. And I say that because I've had somebody play a demon in this game, and I've had somebody play a zombie in this game. And even though I know a cat is a bit of a further stretch than that, there's nothing in the rules that disallowed them from making either of those things.
What's more realistic, a zombie or a cat? Thoughts?
Depends on the setting.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you that one.
Alright, anyway, are we ready to get started here?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, according to the copy of the rules PDF that I have, we start on page 20 to make our characters.
That looks about right.
Okay,
Alright, so each PC creates an agent by following the steps below. Step 1, record your name and ID. So we're just getting that right out of the way this time.
Sweet. Give your agent a name and write it down on your character sheet, then use a black marker to redact the name and give your character an ID. Joining the Bureau means leaving your old identity behind. The ID can be a code name, serial number, or whatever your agent is called by other agents. Well, we're using a form-fillable PDF, so you're going to have to print out the sheet and find your own black marker, sadly.
Yeah, but that's okay.
We can redact it in our minds.
Yes.
Yeah, just like one of the playtesters listed in this book's credits.
Are they redacted?
Yeah, one of the names near the beginning of the book has like a list of playtesters, and one of them is redacted.
Wild. What's a name for a cat that works in an office? I mean, I guess this...
Jim.
They wouldn't know. Okay, yes.
Sorry, that's the only The Office character name I know.
Oh, come on. There's other Office characters like Steve Carell.
Isn't that the actor?
Yes, the actor.
Isn't there somebody named Dwight?
I think there is. I'm gonna be real with you. I've seen 4 episodes of The Office, and I hated every single one of them.
Preach, brother. I know way too much about The Office due to cultural osmosis. So some names we got Jim, Pam, Dwight, Michael, Stanley, Toby, I think is one.
May I have a suggestion?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So,
Save us.
because you have had a previous cat who worked in an office, Peter, which I'm familiar with, and I know how much you love Peter. What do you think about having a cat named Pam as kind of a counterpart to Peter?
I think that works.
Yes, let's do it.
All right. Full name, Pam. I mean, do we give a cat a last name? Cats don't typically have last names, but we've gone against the grain in the past.
Yeah. Is there an Office character whose last name is Shrewt?
Yes.
Okay.
So, do we want to do Shrewt?
Sure, why not?
How do you spell Shrewt? Is that it? SHREWT?
We can spell it that way.
Okay.
Who's gonna check it? It's redacted.
Exactly. Also, naming a character Pam Shrewt, I'm sure the Office fans listening to this are gonna go crazy. The shipping wars in the comments are gonna be awful.
That's okay. You're listening to three people who clearly do not watch the show.
Exactly.
Name a cat after the little knowledge we have of it.
More importantly, because this is the name they will actually be going by, what's the ID for this cat?
Can we not do an Office reference for this one?
Okay. Let's do an Office UK reference.
I know even less.
The only thing I know about that is that there is a UK version.
I know Martin Freeman was in it.
We could also give them something like a code name. I've had players have names such as Dr. Tables, for example. Others have just given me a legitimate string of numbers, and then I just asked if I could use like the last 3 digits. Because I said there's no way I'm going to remember all 7 digits in that number.
Alright. Easy peasy. 69420. We don't actually have to do that.
Yeah, all of our agents have like a 5-digit code, and this cat just like hit the jackpot.
Does that mean that this cat has like a personal stash of catnip?
I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah. You tell me you don't have catnip sitting at your desk right now?
No, rabbits go for carrots.
Oh, right. Sorry.
I also don't have a cat, so I don't have any catnip.
What are we doing here, Joel?
Are you telling me that the 2 people who run a literal cat podcast, neither of them have a cat?
I have 2 cats, so I actually make up for Joel's lack of cat.
Yeah, they had to adopt a second cat to compensate for my lack of pet ownership.
That's true. Also, I adopted her because she's cute and funny.
That too, probably. Secondary reason, though.
Do you have a date that you adopted your cat? We could make that the ID number.
I would have a date for you if I recorded it anywhere. And when I say I adopted this cat, I mean that my little sister had this cat and she had too many cats at the time. And I was like, I'll take a cat. And so that was the adoption process that I went through.
I mean, it's only slightly more formal than most cat adoption stories I've heard.
I mean, most of the time, people just find cats on the street. That's the cat distribution program at work. Okay, we gotta confirm this ID. Are we going with the funny numbers, or do we want to make an actual ID for this character?
We could also come back to the ID after we've created some of the character and see if there's something that comes out of that.
That's a good idea, too, because, you know, we'll have more of an idea of who Pam Shrewt is.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Also, I'm going to go ahead and tick the she/her pronoun box, I assume, ?
Yeah, that's probably a smart assumption.
One of these days we'll give a cat neo-pronouns.
We have done that, I believe.
Have you played Mulgoths versus Visigoths yet?
No.
No.
But
okay.
That.
Please put this on your list, and when you do that, please take a very close look at the pronoun options for Cyberpet. You will not be disappointed.
Okay. I'm going to make a note of this, because if I don't, I will forget.
I have heard of this game, but I don't... Oh, I have this game, apparently.
It was in the Bundle for Racial Justice and Equality back in 2020. So to anybody listening, if you bought that bundle and you're listening to this podcast, go and open up the character sheets for Mulgoths versus Visigoths and look up the Cyberpet.
We'll have to get to that one here soon. If we don't do it before, October, then we're not gonna get a chance.
True.
Until next year. But anyway, now we need a background. So we choose a background for our agent. This is their occupation or area of expertise they had before they were recruited by the Bureau, and is probably the reason the Bureau hired them. So we have a field and a specialty. So like the examples they have here for field are criminal, engineering, public relations, and the specialty is academic, interpersonal, or technical.
There should be a section in the book that actually goes into more detail about that.
I think, yes. Also, I want to give a shout out to whoever wrote this part that says, for example, if you pick the criminal category and an academic specialty, You could be a lawyer.
Yeah, I mean, we've all seen Breaking Bad, right?
Exactly. Do you know that you have rights, Saul Goodman?
Alright, so the background options are, of course, criminal, trades, investigation, occult, public relations, and science.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and strike public relations from the record. Obviously, we've already done that.
Was our idea not to be a foil to Peter the Kaiju Reader?
Are we foiling? Because if so, then I think that's our only option.
You could also take a look at a later option if you want to do a foil for Peter, in terms of where you're working. So your background is who you were before you came to External Containment Bureau. What field did they hire you from?
Okay.
Not what field are you currently working in.
Okay.
Okay. In that case, we gotta have a criminal background, right?
Yeah, probably.
Cats do have a natural affinity for that kind of thing.
The natural affinity for crime comes back around. Alright. I'm all down for the criminal background.
Alright. Now, we have to choose between academic, interpersonal, and technical for the type of criminal that we were.
Okay.
I like interpersonal because one of the options there is politician.
Yes.
Now keep in mind, the items listed under academic, interpersonal, and technical, those are examples, but they're not strict boundaries. So you have to choose between the three, but you don't have to choose the options within each of those three options. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Counterpoint, have you heard of the Alaskan cat mayor?
No.
No.
I'm about to Google this. Hold on.
Yeah, Stubbs, born April 12th, 1997, lived to July 21st, 2017, was the mayor of Talkeetna, Alaska from July 1997, so from kittenhood to his death in 2017.
This cat was thrown into the political stratosphere at 3 months old. The pressure must have been unimaginable.
And was the best mayor they ever had.
For 20 years.
Are you saying you want to make Pam a politician?
I'm saying Pam is the next cat mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Was, before being recruited by the Bureau, of course.
So, okay, we're doing interpersonal. So, was she on track to become a mayor, or was she, did she already have her foot in the door? Was she a mayor and then they pulled her?
I don't know. I think it's either, served one term or was on the campaign trail.
I like the idea of, Pam being on the campaign trail and then, mysteriously dropping out of the race because she got recruited by the ECB.
There's probably a number of conspiracy theories saying that Pam was swooped up by a secret government agency.
Exactly.
Or by a hawk.
That's so bad. Why would you say that, Joel?
It's conspiracy theories.
Okay.
They can't prove anything.
That's true. Okay. Former campaign...
Also, how do you know the hawk doesn't also work for the government?
That's true. This is Black Hawk 3.
The conspiracy forums currently going crazy with all of this stuff we're giving them right now.
I can't wait to see this on Reddit in a couple days.
Yep.
Okay, so we have a former campaigning mayor disappeared under mysterious circumstances. She was taken to the ECB by Black Hawk 3, which is just an actual hawk that is her personal her personal transport.
Okay, watch it. Saying things like that leads to it ending up on the character sheet.
Oh, there's a spot on the character sheet for that, don't you worry.
Yeah, look at these contacts.
Oh boy.
It's alright, it's alright. We'll put that one in our back pocket. We'll save that one for later. If it comes up, it comes up. You know?
Yeah. This is it for the background, right? We move on to department now?
Correct.
Alright. Looks like most of this section is redacted, so we're gonna have to do the best we can with what we've got. Every agent is assigned one of the 6 departments of the Bureau. Agents may change departments during the game. Each department grants special abilities and gear. And then there's another paragraph here, but the only words in no particular order that we can read are officially no other departments exist.
So as you can clearly see, that's all the information we have. So obviously, no other departments exist. We've only got the 6. There were never any more.
Correct. And those are administration, field operations, human relations, records, research and development, and sanitation.
Each department also comes with a special ability and a list of standard issue gear that is expected to be on your agent's hand at any point.
I do like the idea of sanitation because it reminds me of a game called Viscera Cleanup, which is essentially Power Wash Simulator, but for like SCP events.
Oh.
So you have to clean out like these.
Oh, that's I'd not heard of that one. That's interesting.
It's a pretty good game.
Sanitation is very much the D class of External Containment Bureau.
Gotcha.
Would they have put a politician in sanitation?
No. I think the most justifiable departments for us would either be administration or human relation. But we can take a look at the others.
All right.
Do we want to read through these? Just kind of get a feel for what's what.
Sure, and if you have questions about what some of the terms mean or what you use things for, you can field them with me.
Okay, so I'll just start off at the top. Administration, the lawyers, managers, and enforcers of this department are tasked with the difficult job of keeping the Bureau afloat. In broad strokes, they determine, interpret, and make judgment calls about the Bureau policy. Special ability, you can justify almost anything as being by the book under Bureau policy. Depending on how brazen of a claim you make, the GM will assign you 1 to 3 paperwork. Interesting.
Field operations is the next one. The only department authorized for general carry and use of armaments in the Bureau covers operational intelligence, threat assessment, and emergency response. Your special ability is you work with a small team of NPCs. Once permission, call on them to receive backup. Their quality and timeliness is determined by the GM. Backup may provide a bonus for being properly equipped or impact the position of an action roll.
Human relations. This department is involved in hiring, witness interrogation, agent evaluation, grief counseling, and other tasks related to the human element. Special ability is you may offer employment with the Bureau as leverage in a bargain. This may grant a bonus for being properly equipped.
I kind of like this one for a cat, simply because one of their pieces of standard issue gear is translation protocols.
Oh, yeah, that works. Plus, if we're foiling, then human relations makes sense, right?
Yeah, rather than being PR, we're HR.
Human relations has definitely been a big one in games that I've run before. The special ability calls to a lot of people.
You may offer employment with the Bureau as leverage.
I'm just imagining Pam in a dark alley, back turned to whoever she's talking to, trench coat and a floppy hat on. It's just like, hey kid, I need some information. And if you give me that information, well, I may just have a spot for you on this team.
It could work.
I also really like the idea of translation protocols. Just feel like we have to give this cat access to the translation protocols or we are screwed for hiring her.
There's also a lot of things you can do with small comforts.
Oh, yeah.
This cat's always got catnip.
It's like a flask, but instead of a flask, it's just like a little container. It's got one of the vent pouches, pops it open, takes a sniff.
Now, if we go for human relations, I have 2 more questions for you two.
Okay.
First of all, what does business casual look like on a cat?
Just pants. I mean...
When a cat wears pants, are they the 2 back legs or all 4 legs?
I am in the camp that it's the 2 back legs. I mean, have you ever put a jacket on a chihuahua? It's just the front legs that go with it.
I've never... Okay, that's not true. I have touched a chihuahua.
Oh.
Just once.
If we're creating Pam in HR, can I also request that she's got those thick-rimmed glasses that the cat eye glasses?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the horned rim ones.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then my second question is, what's her cover identity?
Ooh. Yeah, what's a good cover identity for a cat?
Is she still the mayor?
Hmm.
Not if she dropped out of the campaign under mysterious circumstances. But did she receive a landslide write-in victory despite not being on the campaign trail for the final months of the campaign?
I was just thinking about that. Like, what if she still won despite not being there, and then she shows back up?
Ready to do the job, yeah.
Oh my god, wait, that's incredible, actually. Okay, I think we have to put this.
Yeah.
Okay, so human resources. I'm going to copy and paste this special ability. Give them the good old Control-C, Control-V.
So if you take a look at the box next to the special ability, where it says standard issue, that's the gear that you get.
Okay.
Now, if I remember correctly, the special issue section of your character sheet is 3 custom pieces of gear that you can choose on character creation, but I think you can also come up with them as you play. So it's up to you too if you want to come up with special issue gear for Pam, or if you want to leave it to the player.
If we have the option to leave it to the player to create stuff on the fly as they play, I feel like that will work better, considering the limitations of this character outside of that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if we just write that, then we're locking our players into a very, very specific type of play that may or may not actually work with their game.
True.
Yeah, there's no harm in leaving some pieces blank.
I mean, we've done this in the past, we could make one, and then the player has free reign to change it, just play around in the space a little bit.
Yeah, true. So I'm assuming this is part of step 4. Agents may bring all manner of everyday items outside of their standard issue gear provided by the Bureau or paid for personally. So if we're saying that Pam here is the foil to Peter the Kaiju Reader, inventor of the cat gun.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to think, but all I've got is like pen is mightier than the sword.
I was going to say cat pen.
Yeah,
cat pen.
Did Pam invent the cat pen?
Inventor of the cat pen, which is how she wrote her speeches that were then given by her campaign manager.
Yep.
Cat pen. How does the cat pen work, you ask? That's up to you, dear listener.
In the exact same way the cat gun does. We didn't actually decide that. We just said it worked. What's up, audience members of this podcast? It is I. You know who I am. You've been listening to this episode so far.
Let's hope so. Let's hope they didn't just skip right to this.
Yeah. Some mid-roll addict out there is just skip straight to this part and is like, who the hell are these guys?
I have no idea. Well, you know that guy, and you know me. So,
yeah.
Let's get into the show.
Yeah, for sure. It would be wild for people to skip straight to this one. We don't even have sponsored ad reads.
Yeah, no. They just can't remember where to find us. They skip right to a random episode's mid-roll. Here we are.
Yeah. Okay. In all seriousness, if you want to find out more about the show, there is an easy place to go to do that. It's called badgertrove.com/literalcatpod.
Whoa. Whole dedicated website where you can find basically all the stuff about the show.
Yeah.
Email up there. We got our links to our socials, all that fun stuff. Email, by the way, if you don't want to go to the website right now, is literalcatpod@gmail.com.
But why wouldn't you want to go to the website? I made it myself.
Yeah, that's a good point. Even if you don't want to go to the website, do it. Type it in right now.
Yeah, admire my handiwork.
Yeah, come on. He spent a lot of time making this thing, and it's beautiful.
Like an entire afternoon and a half.
And a half, guys. Come on.
Anyway, that email address, literalcatpod@gmail.com. You can use that if you want to. We accept business proposals. We accept challenges. We accept cat name ideas. We also, and this is important, we accept cat pictures.
That is the most important part.
If you send us a cat picture of your cat might end up featured in an episode.
Yep, we've done it before, and by God, we'll do it again.
We will certainly do it again.
The only thing we don't accept on the email is coupons. We are not a participating location, sorry.
Yep, no coupons. But anyway, let's see. Where else can people find us? We've got Twitter, Tumblr, Blue Sky, and YouTube, all at Literal Cat Pod. We've got a TikTok at Literal Cat Podcast. Again, though, you can find all of these links if you just go to badgertrove.com/literalcatpod.
So easy. You can get all this information right there.
Yep. Now, we mentioned earlier that we don't do sponsored ad reads. We totally could, and we would happily do it for you if you wanted us to. But here's the thing. We would need a slightly bigger audience for advertisers to take us seriously, I think. So,
Yes.
so if you want us to get big enough to sell out, then, then you need to rate and review the podcast on the podcast listening service of your choice.
Yeah, go ahead. Drop some words, put a sonnet in the review section. Let us know how we're doing, and let potential advertisers know that we will sell out.
Yep. Now, there are limits on our selling out, but
yeah.
we're not going to sell the InfoWars bone broth or whatever the hell that is.
Never heard of this. I'm going to have to look that up later.
You don't have to look up InfoWars advertisers. I don't think it's worth your time.
Probably not.
You're better off not knowing.
Fair.
I wish I didn't know about them. Anyway, if you don't feel like leaving a review, and you also don't have the capacity to leave us any stars in your listening app of choice, you could always just tell a friend about the show. I'm sure that if you like TTRPGs, there's probably, what would you estimate, 2 to 5 other people in your friend group that also like TTRPGs?
Yeah, approximately, yeah. Especially if you're a person that already plays RPGs, or TTRPGs, then surely you know.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. You and 3 to 4 other players. Anyway, speaking of that RPG game that you are definitely in, we've probably got a character sheet that you could try and sneak past your GM. All you gotta do is go to bit.ly/literalcatpod, and you can download the character sheet from this episode or any previous episode.
They're all there, free to use. So, get it in your GMs, just slide it behind their screen. They won't know.
And here's the thing. They will continue to be free to use, even if we sell out.
True. We are all for free use here.
I don't know about that.
Well, we're all for more accessibility.
Okay, that's a bit better. Not to yuck anyone's yum. If you're into that kind of thing, just,
Yeah. But if you've already told people about the show, and you've rated and reviewed, and you've snuck in these characters into your games, or to your GM, and you still think, I like this show even more, and I want to support them a little bit more, there is one other thing you can do, and that is subscribe to the Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/badgertrove, and we've got some rewards up there that are pretty cool.
Yeah. At the $5 tier, we have at the $2 tier, which is the lowest tier, the tier that we, actually recommend anyone who's not sure about us go to. We've got, you can have access to our calendar, so you can see our release schedule potentially months ahead of the rest of the public. And we are starting to book things out pretty far in advance at this point in time. It's great, actually. It means we're organized, we know what's coming, and so can you. But at the $5 tier, not only do you get to listen to episodes up to a week early, you also get some bonus content. Now, a couple days ago, we released the first piece of bonus content that we ever recorded to the main feed. The second half of that recording is up on the Badger Trove website now. So, if you liked our poorly planned out, Powered by the Apocalypse mashup, where a bunch of cats fight a mob of rats, and by that I do mean literal rat mobsters, then, maybe you want to hear how it ends. Maybe you don't want to wait another couple months.
Yeah.
Maybe that's worth $5 to you.
Yeah, $5 for that extra content. You get in on the ground floor. You get to hear all the fun jokes and gags that we do.
Yeah, what he
totally
said.
Worth it.
Anyway, I think that's everything about the show. Avalon, do you have anything you would like our audience to follow that you're doing?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Tumblr, and TikTok at Avalon Alchemist. I post online sometimes. I'm not as chronically online as I used to be, so but you can still interact with me and stuff on there. Joel, what about you? What have you got cooking over there?
Yes, so as for me, I have started live streaming. Not only am I live streaming, I'm VTubing, which means all of my socials have been changed. My TikTok, Twitter, Tumblr, Blue Sky, they're all Omammer now because that is my VTuber name. On Tumblr and Twitch, it is Omammer with a 0 for the O. On TikTok and Twitter, and YouTube, it's Omammer VT. And on Blue Sky, it's just Omammer. All of those links still available at jholland.start.page. You know, if you don't feel like memorizing which one's which. Also, I'm going to be trying to fix up Tumblr and Twitch as soon as I can to be Omammer VT as well. That way we're just consistent across the board.
Consistency is good, but not required. People will still find you. I think it's fun. I really like your little VTuber model. I was able to catch one of your streams, and it's very good. I like the setup you got going over there. So I think you guys should go
thanks.
Check out the work that Joel's been putting into this.
Yeah, Omammer is a fun character to play. I'm hoping to get more into character as Omammer as time goes on. We're still working out his lore, and you can participate in that. It'll be fun.
You can be part of the new lore drops.
Yeah, I mean, we already know he's a slime tentacle abomination made of a sludge of sentient pre-2014 Tumblr posts who was fused with the dead corpse of Lord Helix to be the new ruler of the bottom feeders. What was the other thing we established? He's not allowed within 100 feet of anime women, not because of anything he's done, just a precaution.
Yeah, that's just a law preordained for any sludge-related creatures.
It's the tentacles, I think.
Yeah.
That's what did it. Anyway, come check out Omammer. I stream every weekend, Saturday, Sunday, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern.
It's a long time.
It's 4 hours.
That's, pretty average for a stream.
Yeah, I might do more or less over time, we'll see. But for right now, it's just 4 hours. If that gives me time to edit together shorts and clips and the occasional video, then that's good enough for me. For right now, anyway. Anyway, that's... Well, I've talked about Omammer for too long. He's fun. He's a fun character.
He is very fun.
But you know who else is a fun character?
Who?
Pam Shrewt. Let's get back to hearing about her.
Yeah, let's do it.
Alright, so we're going to leave the next ones here blank, which means we're on to step 5. Record your contacts. Each agent starts the game with 3 relationships with NPCs working in the Bureau. One should be a positive relationship, a friend, lover, family member, or friendly rival who pushes you to excel, for instance. The second should be a negative relationship. They might be a professional rival, an office prankster, or a spurned partner. They should be an antagonist who is more a nuisance but less than an outright enemy. So which one's the hawk?
That's a good one.
One thing you want to keep in mind as well when you're looking at your positive and negative contacts, it's entirely possible that one of these people is someone you know from outside the Bureau, and the other person is probably someone that you know inside the Bureau. There's also your department head, but the department head is automatically inside the Bureau, so they can't be that outside contact.
Okay.
I kind of think the hawk is our positive contact.
Yes.
And maybe in that context, the negative contact could be our mayoral rival.
I was thinking
whoever we ran against.
Yes, I was thinking the exact same thing. We've got our mayoral rival, and it's just this person who hates us, like, trying to get every piece of dirt, like, the most mudslinging politician you can find. And it's for this really small town local race. And they're just plastering Pam's face on flyers around town constantly.
Yeah. And every single thing is like that he can come up with is just like absolutely normal cat behavior.
Mayor Pam found licking her own butt on public park bench.
Would you like a fun story about an actual positive and negative contact that one of my players came up with?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, I think it was probably the first time that I was running this game for friends, and we had been going around the table trying to figure out the negative contact for one of the players, and he said, I think it's going to be my character's ex-wife. I think there's just a lot of bad blood between the two of us. And I said, that's great. And then immediately after that, we went on to the next player and asked her what her positive contact was. And she said, oh, it's his ex-wife.
Oh my god, that's incredible.
It was poetry.
Love that.
I'm
Love
sure
that.
that made for some great roleplay.
Yeah, you know, a lot of Fortune in the Dark games that I know of, they kind of give you on your playbook a list of pre-established characters, so it's great that this one gives us a little more free reign with that.
Mm-hmm.
I love games that give you free reign.
So, for the positive contact, if we want to say the Hawk...
Do we just want to call it Black Hawk 7?
I'm down for that.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of, is like, what did you call it before? It was Black Hawk 7?
I said 3, but 7 works too.
Oh, okay.
Just an arbitrary number. So yeah, Black Hawk.
Is Black Hawk 7 a boy, a girl?
Pronouns redacted.
Redacted.
Sounds good. But yeah. Okay, I gotta say though, like, this is going to just drive the Reddit conspiracy board on this mayor even more insane, because now we have not just a mayor who was supposedly kidnapped by either a hawk or the government during the final weeks of this political race, or month, or whatever. Now that the cat is back in office, there is a hawk constantly hanging around her.
Yeah. They just have pictures of, like, really zoomed out, like, Pam sitting at, like, a local restaurant, and there's always just, like, a hawk, like, at the top of the building. A chauffeur? How do you spell chauffeur? Is that it?
How do you spell chauffeur?
You have it almost. It ends in an EUR, I think.
Fancy pants Rich McGee over here.
You.
Fun fact, I live in Canada and grew up learning how to speak French.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
I thought I caught that
that'll do it.
earlier. I heard a sorry.
I will not apologize for my apology.
Oh, I'm not asking you to apologize at all.
I found a spelling. It's CHUFFEUR.
Awesome. I was mostly right.
Yeah, you got
Which,
it.
honestly, compared to my previous track on spelling words that I don't know, I'll take that. That's a W for me, honestly. Being that close.
We take those wins.
I'll take them where I can get them. Negative contact. What is the name of this opponent? I think we already...
One moment. I've got an idea for this, but I've got to look something up first.
Okay.
Because what I'm thinking of is this fake character from an old Crack.com short film where they did a fake political candidate ad of this, like, what do they call it? The most electable candidate ever.
Okay.
I've just got Dr. Ron Taylor is the character's name.
Dr. Ron Taylor. Okay. Do we want to make it Dr. Ron Taylor, or do we want to make up our own spin-off name?
We can make up our own.
Dr. Ton Railer.
Ton Railer? Just
Dr. John Railer.
John Railer.
Sure.
He, him.
Or did he change them because he thought it would give him more political clout?
Ooh. Is this doctor masquerading as a they them for the youth vote?
I don't know if they would go. It's a small town election. That's probably not actually going to get him very far. I just thought it was a funny idea.
Depends on where the small town is, though.
Yeah, true.
Or maybe he's altered some other part of his appearance.
He's got a pink streak in his hair. But he's old, so he's got, like, completely white hair. Just this hot pink, like, strip going down the side. Like, above his right ear.
Yeah, that's a cartoon villain if I've ever seen one.
Exactly.
I'm just imagining that one politician from Parks and Rec who is always in the middle of some ridiculous scandal or other. Except with a pink streak in his hair.
Do I have to go into more detail than old man with hot pink streak in his hair? I think... Alright,
audience.
I think
we're good.
Audience, I want you to do a visual exercise with me. Imagine an old man. Congratulations. That's Dr. John Railer.
Oh, I spent too much time on Crack.com when I was in high school.
Never even heard of crack.com.
It was an online comedy publication. Had a nice YouTube channel for a while before Facebook incentivized them to kill it, like they did so many other things.
Oh yeah.
Cracked was one of the victims of pivot to video.
Yeah, that killed a lot of pages.
Yep. Anyway.
So we should do our department head now, correct?
Yes. And one of the things you're going to think about for the department head is that this is somebody that the GM might use to hand out a mission. It's probably going to be the person that the game master is most likely to embody for any given session. And your department head is the one character that's kind of destined to change, because as you play, you are probably going to get transferred from one department to another, which means that your special abilities could also change. And then along with that, also, your department head might change. And if you're playing with other people who have made their own department heads for different departments, when you change departments, you'll have their department head now as your department head.
Okay. That makes this one kind of weird for us, because, like, yes, technically this is for our character, but also this would be affecting everybody else's character in the game, too, if and when the need arises for them to switch to the human resources department. So, Joel, what do you think? Should we...
Let's go ahead and fill it in.
What's the head of the human resources department look like?
I strongly believe that they should not be a human.
Okay, gotcha. Finally, some fucking representation on this podcast.
Are we thinking like Martian, or are we thinking like Mole Men or something like that?
Oh my god. No! Lizard Man, obviously.
Looking at an SCP the other day, I think it was SCP-629. I might have to double check, but apparently it's this gigantic lizard that's completely indestructible.
Huh.
I might have the number wrong. There's too many SCPs.
SCP-629 is Mr. Brass.
If that's not the lizard.
It is a masculine humanoid made entirely of bronze, styled as a middle-aged man with a beard, button-down shirt, and other stuff.
You might be thinking of 682. Probably not. If it's supposed to be a lizard man, then I don't...
Not a lizard man, just a reptile of some kind.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay.
This guy's terrifying.
A large, vaguely reptile-like creature of unknown origin. It appears to be extremely intelligent and was observed to engage in complex communication with SCP-079, which is... there's no picture for this one. I don't know. A sorcerer microcomputer built in 1978.
I'm sorry, a sorcerer microcomputer?
Yeah, this lizard can talk to the magic Raspberry Pi. What about it?
You know what? That's fine.
Now, this lizard does have a hatred for all life, which has been expressed in several interviews. So I don't know if we literally do SCP-682.
But we can do kind of a spin-off, maybe.
I do like the idea of a lizard person, though.
Yeah. Lizard people controlling the government by infiltrating small-town Alaska.
Well, is it Alaska? Or...
Of course, a cold-blooded individual would go to one of the coldest places to overthrow the government.
Oh, true. I thought you were talking about the Human Resources Department.
Oh, that's a good point. You're right, it's not Alaska. It's just human resources.
One moment. Now, I think the thing we need to do is look up Lizard Folk Name Generator. These are incomprehensible. This was a bad idea.
Can we change it? I'm not comfortable with the whole lizard folk government controlling conspiracy particularly, because I think it has some unsavory history.
Fair.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of anti-Semitic.
Oh.
So maybe we could either make it an actual giant lizard, or maybe have the giant lizard actually be a very nice guy who just wants to make sure that people are getting, like, their union dues.
Oh, I'm absolutely down for that.
Yeah.
It is just a giant alligator.
He's a giant alligator, but he's a union plant within the HR department.
Everybody knows that human resources departments in real life hate unions. Okay, well that text is really small, but I wrote down alligator union rep helping the employees from within the organization.
That works. Now, what are we calling this?
Do we want alliteration?
I'm a
Yeah,
huge
sure.
fan of alliteration. What you got?
Well, we need an A name of something. So Alvin the alligator, Albert the alligator, Alicia the alligator.
Alvin Albertson.
Alvin Albertson. I like it.
You can call him Al.
You can call me Al. Or Ale for short, because it's AL3.
Alvin Albertson the third.
The third. Exact. Pronouns. What are the pronouns?
I'm getting a he they from this guy. What do you think?
I agree with that.
I agree with that.
As a fellow he they, I can confirm. Alright. So we still need an ID for Pam.
Yep.
What kind of role do you think Pam plays in HR? Do you think that she's in recruiting? Do you think that she's looking at employee satisfaction? Or do you think there's maybe another department within HR that she is in charge of?
Well, one of the things that it said was under human relations was interrogation.
Okay.
I think her time in politics has made her very good at reading people.
Oh, okay. I have it.
Okay.
CAT scan.
All right.
CAT scan.
All right.
I like that a lot.
CAT scan is pretty good.
Now, do we want that all one word, 2 words, hyphenated? Does it matter?
I don't think it matters.
I think as long as people know to call her Agent CAT scan.
Yep, that sounds good to me. And that is the last step on our list. Is there anything else that we need to have here?
So this is an optional rule, and you'll see this if you're looking at the paranormal powers. You can have an agent start with a paranormal power. And I think if you look at the character sheet, you can even pre-fill a paranormal power and then click the box when you're certified to use it. So what we could do is we could suggest a paranormal power for Pam to start with, and then whoever's picking this up just has to click the box if they're allowed to start with it. So they can either do that, or they can wait until the game master says, okay, you're now certified to use that power, and then click the box.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So we've got apparition, conjuration, dowsing, geomancy, levitation, parthenogenesis, photokinesis, precognition, prowess, pyrokinesis, retrocognition, shapeshift, telekinesis, telepathy, teleportation, transcendence.
I'm going to pause you just right now and say that transcendence is not a primary power that you can take. Transcendence is a power you take when you want your character to transcend past mundane existence, and therefore they become non-playable.
Oh.
Oh. Well, that's okay. I was thinking of doing something else anyway.
What have you got your noggin set on?
I think based on our other established skills, that precognition or retrocognition might be the way to go.
Does this mean that when Pam uses her power, she has to push her glasses up on her nose and they flash?
Yes.
Of course.
Do you want to read out what they do then? And maybe we can talk about it?
Yeah, alright. Precognition is mark 1 resonance to receive a vision about something that is about to happen in the next few moments. You can also mark another resonance to stretch the vision out to the next few minutes. And then retrocognition, mark 1 resonance to see echoes of past events in the area. So I was thinking, like, in terms of interrogation fodder, if we're saying that's what this cat primarily does for the human relations department, maybe a little on-scene investigation could tell you a little bit about what this person may have been doing there that they don't know that you know, or precognition could tell you what they might say if you ask a specific question. You know, something to just give them a little edge, knock them off guard, whatever.
I wanted to talk a little bit about how the game works, because I think retrocognition in particular is kind of related to that. I don't know if you're familiar with Brindlewood Bay or any games that are like kind of connected to Brindlewood Bay.
We have not done them yet.
Okay, so it sparked a kind of a mechanic called a theory roll. And while External Containment Bureau is not powered by the Apocalypse game in the same way that Brindlewood Bay is, it was one of the first Forge in the Dark games that took the kind of idea of a theory roll and made it work in Forge in the Dark. So what this means is that throughout the course of the game, you're going to be looking for clues, which are definitive, like, resources that you can later use to assemble a theory. When you're running External Containment Bureau, the Game Master is not planning a mystery. At least not in the same way they are for a lot of typical role-playing games. So instead, they're probably going to come up with a problem, and they're going to come up with a number of different clues. With precognition, it's not related to clues. It's just trying to figure out what's going to happen next. Retrocognition, though, if you're using that, you're specifically looking for some kind of clue that the GM might have created. That does not stop Pam from being able to interrogate somebody using retrocognition in order to get clues, because the GM can modify the clues to make sense for however the player is deciding to look for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent.
I also like the idea of retrocognition just because it's not something you see a lot. Precognition, everybody got that. Come on.
I did play a point-and-click detective game once where you had the power of, they called it post-cognition, but it was the same kind of deal.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big fan of retrocognition, too.
Okay. Do we want to jot that down?
I'm okay with jotting that down.
Okay. I was about to say I wasn't hearing any opposition. Let's do it.
Now, you'll also notice that most of I think all of the powers talk about marking resonance. Resonance kind of works like stress works in a lot of other Blades in the Dark games, where you're spending it in order to give yourself an advantage in certain situations. And if you fill up your resonance track, you take another power.
Oh.
This also means that if you take up to 4 powers, your character is too powerful to be a regular agent in External Containment Bureau, and as a result, they no longer become playable.
Whack.
So is that where the transcendent thing comes in?
Absolutely.
That is a cool mechanic, though.
Yeah, it gives you incentive to not just, like, you might want to use your power a lot early on if it gives you more, but, like, once you have them, you have to be careful about using them because you might lose the access to your character.
Yep.
It might also work if you have more than one character that you want to play, and you might want to hop in between them and say that I'm going to pick up Pam for this episode, but maybe next episode I'll pick up like half demon, half zombie sanitation worker.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So, did we do it?
I think we did it.
I think this is it.
All right. And did we break any rules? I don't have any notes on rules we broke, but
I don't think we did. I mean, it's not even implied that you're supposed to play as a human, so, like, I don't even think we broke that.
I think it's a little more of a stretch than most non-human characters it does intend for you to play, but stretching a rule as intended is not the same as breaking a rule as intended, necessarily.
How do you feel about making a cat that doesn't break any of the rules?
Pretty good.
Well, we've done it before.
Yeah.
Usually it's a superhero game. Technically, I don't think Peter the Kaiju Reader broke any rules.
Did he not?
It's hard. It's hard to break rules in Fate. It's so free.
I mean, we've had a few Fate games where, like, it was explicitly said that you're supposed to be a human, so...
If we want to add anything else, it's certainly not mandatory because it's kind of meant to be come up with if you play a long-term game. But you'll notice that at the bottom of this character sheet, there's a little section titled Conspiracy Theories.
Yes.
These are External Containment Bureau's versions of long-term projects. Your character starts chasing down or writing up a conspiracy theory that they try to piece together. It might be an NPC who repeatedly shows up, or it might be some kind of conspiracy that the character believes to be true and is trying to find proof for. And so in between each mission, they might hunt down leads that relate to their conspiracy theory. And if that ever gets completed, then the GM could make it a new mission for the group to complete.
Interesting.
Neat. I like that.
Yeah. So are you suggesting that we come up with one, potentially?
If you think it would be fun, it's something we could do, but it's certainly not mandatory.
I mean, we've got time. We've been making pretty good time with this episode so far, I think.
Yeah.
Alright, well, in that case, do you think that there's a conspiracy that Pam has reason to believe is true?
Let's see. So, do we think that Pam reads the conspiracy boards about her?
Oh, absolutely. She's got to stay informed.
Right. So, I'm wondering if there's something that's been attributed to something surrounding her that she's not heard of, but, like, the supporting evidence suggests that there's a something maybe there. Like, is Pam the were bobcat?
Is Pam the local cryptid?
Like, yeah, something like that. Like, yeah, there's like a local myth about the, I don't know. Are we saying this cat's from Alaska?
What if there's something like all of the kids' hamsters are disappearing?
Oh, and Rayler, Dr. John Rayler, is using that to try to smear Pam. But Pam's like, I know for a fact that's not me. But who is it? Or what?
Okay, I just looked up weird Alaska small town names.
Okay.
So, what about the Dead Horse Bobcat Man?
Dead Horse Bobcat Man.
I don't even know if bobcats are native to Alaska. Where are bobcats?
Let's find out.
Bobcats are more like a thing around like the area where I live, I think.
Majority of world's bobcats are found in the United States, but they range from Mexico to southern Canada.
I can confirm that Alaska is much farther north than southern Canada.
True.
What about wolverines? I think they are.
Okay, so there are lynxes in Alaska, just not bobcats.
Yes. Wolverines currently are widely distributed in Canada and Alaska, with smaller populations in the lower 48 United States. So we could do wolverine.
All right.
Or lynx if we want to.
Yeah, the reason I'm pointing this out is because, like, technically a bobcat is just a type of lynx. So, like, it would be weird to call it the Bobcat Man, but also it's not, like, totally outside of the range of possibility that the Alaskan Bobcat Man sounds better than the Alaskan Lynx Man.
True. You know, people love a catchy name for a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
He's a lynx, but his name is Bob.
But yeah, I love the idea that Pam got turned on to this because someone was accusing her of being the Dead Horse Bobcat Man.
And Pam's like, you know what? This isn't my issue, but somebody should look into this, and I am the mayor, so...
Yeah.
You want to rate that he's, terrorizing Alaska?
He's definitely blamed on all the hamster disappearances.
Okay.
I love this.
So, Dead Horse Bobcat Man allegedly murdering hamsters?
Committing hamstercide.
Gotcha.
Well, we don't know what he does with them.
That's true.
Just like we don't know what happens to the people that the Dirt Man takes underground.
Well, that's what the allegedly covers, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and once a conspiracy theory gets out, people make up wild stuff. So I'm sure somebody's out there like, he's killing all the hamsters. Oh my god. Somebody has to stop the horse bobcat man.
Yeah, something like that's going on.
Excellent. Now right. Pam has a project.
Yeah.
All right, that is a character.
Pam Shrewt, mayor of Dead Horse, Alaska. Allegedly the Dead Horse Bobcat Man?
Wait, Dead Horse is the name of an Alaskan town?
Yes, that's what I was saying.
Okay, I knew you were looking up names. I did not think that would be the name of a town.
There's a capital city in Canada called Whitehorse.
That's more understandable than Dead Horse. Very snowy up there. Genuinely, these pictures could be from literally anywhere in Alaska, and I would not know.
It's perfect.
Yeah, works.
Also, I think according to the short thing I saw before I closed the page to get back on track, that the city is unincorporated, so...
Wait, unincorporated into the state?
It doesn't have an official, I don't know exactly how that works, but the difference between, an incorporated or unincorporated town, but, one is, the state does not formally recognize it.
Oh.
Maybe this is Pam's campaign trail. The state will formally recognize Dead Horse, Alaska.
Yeah, there you go. To all of our listeners in Dead Horse, Alaska, we got you. We're going to help you get incorporated. And if we don't have any...
If you want that.
Yes, if you want that. And if we don't have any listeners in Dead Horse, Alaska right now as of this recording, then I fully take back that promise. I'm not liable for your incorporation.
Anyway, so yeah, I think for real this time, we've finished this character sheet.
Woo, another one down.
Good job, everybody.
Yeah, good job. Thank you for your help.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, this was fun. Is there anything you would like to plug here at the end?
Yes. If anybody would like to check out my work, I'm at MintRabbit on itch.io. You can take a look at Protect the Child there. It is still in playtesting. By the time this episode comes out, I will have definitely launched my public playtest server on Discord, so the link will be on the Protect the Child page there. You can also take a look at TheresATtrpgForThat on Tumblr. You can just type it all in one go at tumblr.com, and you can take a look at the game recommendations that I posted there.
We might have to have you back on when Protect the Child actually comes out.
Oh, well, in that case, we might have to do something a bit more intense than this, but I would love that.
Oh, that's fine. Some games are just more complex. We're okay with that.
Yeah.
We did the Dark Eye. It can't get much worse than that.
Oh my gosh. I still have nightmares about the Dark Eye.
You should get somebody, what was the, something from Palladium. Get somebody to come on and do something from Palladium with you. Then you'll know you've done something crunchy.
Oh boy.
See, Palladium, books.
If I remember correctly, they make a lot of their settings cross-compatible. So almost any setting book is compatible for whatever game that you decide to make a character in.
Let's see. Have I heard of any of these? Riffs, splicers, I've heard of After the Bomb.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a Fallout-inspired thing.
Yeah, they have superheroes, they have aliens, they have mutants, they have robots, I'm pretty sure. It's not a game that I have played, but a dear friend of mine does love the Palladium kind of house of games, because that's what he grew up playing, so I've heard a little bit about it from him.
Nice. It's kind of a shame. There was a real crunchy sounding game that I almost had a guest for, but that didn't work out. What is it called? Rollmaster or something like that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've heard of that one.
Yeah, we might have to try that one again in the future, but anyway.
I mean, honestly, with the amount of games out there, the real hard part is just narrowing down what you can do on the show.
Yeah. And there's just some games that we can't do without help, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think this is the After the Bomb that I heard of. I think there's another game out there called After the Bomb.
This is probably the thing that they're most known for.
Rift sounds familiar.
And then I think Savage Worlds picked it up as well, because there's Savage Rifts, if I remember correctly.
Anyway, this is something that I will have to look into and probably find a guest for. It's like, there's a list of games that we have that like we've agreed not to touch unless we can find someone to help us.
Yeah.
Top of that list is Shadowrun.
Good luck with that.
Thanks. Anyway, so we got through the plugs. We got through a few more game recommendations that I have to research now. Avalon, do you have a cat pun for us?
I sure do. All right. What do you call a CD burned with a cat's favorite songs?
Cat scratch. No, that's records. I'm out of guesses.
Mint, any guesses?
I've got nothing.
A meow mix.
I was definitely off base.
All right, there you go.
Well, thanks for listening, everyone.
Yep, until next time.